Today we're going over every removed gadget and star power, the second part. If you haven't watched the first part, make sure you go check out that video. It is just as enticing as this one. And make sure you stick around until the end because somebody got all 4 of their star powers and gadgets removed and replaced. Quick reminder, only 1% of you guys are subscribed, so if you guys could bump that number up a little bit, it would be super helpful. Let's dive in. First up, we have Tick. His gadget, Backup Mine, was removed. He would dash forward and leave a single mine on the ground behind him. I think the reason they removed this was because it was just super lame and nobody really used it. There isn't really much to say about this. I didn't even buy this one when it was in. I bought the other gadget. He would get a shield and then explode. This was helpful in close range situations, although the dash wasn't even that far. It was like 3 tiles, I could say. Eventually this was removed and probably for the better too, because it wasn't even that good. And now we have something way better, which is where he throws 6 mines instead of 3. Moving on to number 2's Daryl's star power. You're going to see why this one was absolutely broken in a second. Rolling reload was possibly one of the best star powers in the game. You reload 3 ammo instantly whenever you roll into somebody. You can imagine unloading all of your shots right after you use your roll. 3 shots, your roll, and then another 3 shots adds up to over 8,000 damage. Wait, hold on, it gets even better. The shots are also buffed, dealing 50% more damage, meaning now you're dealing over 10,000 damage. My people, you can see why this was removed from the game. He was commonly people's first rank 30. Well, you can see why. It's pretty obvious. But don't worry, after their mistake, they removed it, well, not that fast. It took them almost a year to remove it from the game. Along with it being removed, he also got a sweet new retexture, which took away his, well, staring into the soul eye. But all broken things must come to an end, because this quickly got a rework once they realized how broken it was. With this massive downgrade, it now only has a double reload speed. It took away the extra damage, and it took away the 3 instant shots. Let's get into some more crazy ones. As number 3, Frank. Frank can see and steal the power of the defeated brawler, increasing his damage by 30% for 10 seconds. Look familiar? Well, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing as now, but there are now ghosts on the ground of the defeated brawler, so not only you can pick it up, but your teammates can pick it up as well. So, say you do a squad wipe, you get all 3 of them dead, well, now for the next 10 seconds, all 3 people on your team have a 30% buff. Just imagine the spawn killing, it would be insane. For the rework, they didn't do Frank too dirty for this one, but it's still not as good as the original. This was a pretty decent rework because now he has an increased damage from 30% to 50%, and it's a longer time, from 10 seconds to 12 seconds. Frank is still probably the worst brawler in the game, down there with others. But hey, there has to be one brawler at the bottom. It's alright though, because we move on to number 4, the creature of the night, Mortis. He's in a similar position as Frank, where he can see and reap the souls of a defeated brawlers. Collecting their soul restores 1,000 health. Again, this dropped a little ghost on the ground, which teammates could also pick up. And yes, they do stack up to 3. At this point, Mortis was more of a support than an actual damage dealer. And this is also insane in Brawl Ball if you positioned the soul correctly. Imagine just running in a line and picking up to 3,000 health while also being beamed by the other team. You're practically Frank. Health, I mean, not skill. If you're a Mortis player, you'll know the rework. Instead, Mortis gets the 1,000 health instead of his teammate. Oh, I forgot to mention, number 5 is also Mortis. I'll make this one quick. This one is where he gains a dash bar, and his range is increased by 75% whenever his thing is fully charged. This was back when the other star power already had its rework, so Mortis wasn't super good at the time. This one was just replaced by another star power, and this was added into the game as a normal attack. This was replaced by this star power, which just had the bar charge faster. Here's number 6, Brock, with his star power. This star power is fairly simple, where you just burn the ground on the floor and set it on fire, and it deals 600 damage. This, well, it was just normal. Like, it was fine. I understand why they took it out and put it as his normal attack, though, because it really didn't make it that much of a difference. That star power turned into this, where you just get 44% more rockets on Rocket Rain. At number 7 and 8, we have Mr. P. Mr. P's Roboporter has 3,000 more health. This was pretty broken, and you can kind of see why, because now it doesn't die as fast, and back then the charge was a little bit faster, so you could produce more penguins. Mr. P just loved reproducing, huh? This was slowly replaced by his newer star power, which is buffing the Roboporters, which are the little penguins. They now do 20% more damage and 30% health, or the other way around. And the other one was where Mr. P's suitcase bounced no matter what. Since Brawl Stars was always coming up with new ideas for every single brawler, but they didn't want to lose their other ones, they decided that we should just add this straight to the game, which is basically what they did with this one, and with Mortis's too. But before this, he was kind of bad because it didn't always bounce, only if it hit a wall or a person. But after this, it always bounced. Now Mr. P has Handle with Care, where every 4 seconds, the explosion of Mr. P's suitcase is buffed by 40%. This one, in my opinion, is a lot better and was one of the better reworks out of all the ones today. If you're liking this video so far, make sure you like and subscribe. It helps out a ton, and make sure to drop a comment too. Now at number 9, 10, 11, and 12, with all 4 star powers and gadgets replaced, Penny. Her first gadget was where she would call an artillery strike right to her location whenever she had her mortar down. The gadget was called Captain's Compass, and wasn't even that bad of a gadget in my opinion, but they did change it out later for a little bit of a better one, so that way Penny didn't always have to be right next to her brawler so she could have this gadget. Now we have Trusty Spyglass, which just hits every visible enemy in the location. Second gadget to be removed was where she blows up her cannon and the explosion destroys walls and deals 1500 damage. This was a little bit overpowered, but I see why they removed it. It was an alright gadget, and I found it pretty fun. It was kind of like placing a mine in the ground, and right when someone walks near, boom. It was replaced with this human body shield and a pouch burster called Salty Barrel. Pretty good gadget in my opinion. Then we have this star power where if her mortar dies, then it shoots 4 bombs, each dealing 1680 damage, which is a little bit of a buff than what it should do. If you had Trusty Spyglass and this at the exact same time, that would be so broken if you did one after another. Holy. This was replaced with Heavy Coffers, which has a 100% wider burst whenever she hits something. Then for the last star power, we have Balls of Fire, which make it so that her shots do fire on the ground for 3 seconds. This was later just added in the game as a normal thing. Replacements made it so that she did damage whenever she placed her mortar down. That's it for today. Like and subscribe.